Good morning, everyone. A little update from me on my progress with this year. So it's mid February. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. Uh, so I've been using something to track my progress. I will use some of our assessments to track my progress this year, and I did the first assessment in the middle of January, and I will do it with every 4 weeks. And so I did an update of my assessments this weekend, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the assessments and share what I'm measuring and a small update. I will give a more in-depth update further along, but we will share a little bit about it. So I invited Simba to because he's doing the assessments on me, and I invited him to talk a little bit about what he's been doing and a little bit about what kind of progress he's been seeing during this month.
Yeah, so as Sarah's mentioned, we are 1 year on fruit diet predominantly, and I work as a personal trainer. That's my background, massage therapist, and then I've been combining life coaching and stress management, and looking for different ways to find metrics or ways of analyzing and assessing where do you start and how do you progress forward. Not that stress is something that you should necessarily measure, that brings more stress, but more as a empowering aspect that you can actually see what happens in your body when you shift your nutrition, your physiology, muscle mass, fat mass, how does your posture improve when you start to exercise in a certain way or embrace certain aspects like yoga, yin yoga, and also work with mindfulness, emotions. So, more or less, trying to find a way to see the physical changes in the person as they're doing a new nutritional regimen or exercise regimen or a holistic package, the way that we work with over here. So
Yeah, we started with the basics like weight. You did like the caliper.
yeah, basically when we do the assessments, just like Sarah said, first you want to see how old is the person, how tall are you, how much do you weigh, because weight is something that you can definitely measure quite easy, but weight doesn't really say anything, right? If you start to exercise and you gain a lot of muscles and you gain weight, have you gone backwards in your progress? Most likely not. But that can be very hard to evaluate if you don't have the tools or the metrics, like methods for it. So what we definitely do is ordinary tape measurements from the neck all the way down to just see how has the body shifted, how has that diameter shifted in your neck, chest, shoulders, belly, waist, legs, just to see what happens in the body. And then, as Sarah said, we have some different calipers to assess bone density and a skin fold caliper. And when we put all of the results in from these different tools, what we get is a metric of how much body percentage of muscle mass you have, fat, how much your bone weighs, and how many percentage of your total body weight they are made out to be or put out to be, and also other mass from there. So, and we also work with a little bit of different, they're funny looking calipers to see the posture in the spine, to see if you're leaning forward a lot, to see if your hips are kind of rotating one side more than the other, to see the different aspects in your spine. If you start doing lean forward, if you lean backward, is it the difference in your upper spine, in your mid or your lower spine? and also a forward head caliper. So they look very funny, all of these tools, but they serve a purpose of seeing how does the physiology, how does the posture of a person change with an exercise, nutritional, and mindfulness plan. And that way, the person, because if you look at yourself in the mirror every day, you might not see that big of a difference. But if you take photos with a plumb line, so you can see from the front, from both sides and behind, you can actually start to see a difference month by month. And if you couple that with the metrics of seeing how is my posture shifting, that you can get very specific degrees for how does your posture shift as you're doing these exercises, and also how does the weight shift, the body percentage, as you're shifting your diet, you're going to have a lot of good, reliable metrics for seeing what is it that actually happens in the body. And that usually works very empowering, because then you can actually see, not just what you visualize, you can actually have a lot of statistics for what is it that happens in your body as you're shifting a lot of things around in your lifestyle.
Yeah, so I've been doing this because I've decided to give myself as a gift the 1 year transformation with diet, exercise, like all of the things that we are practicing. I decided to do that very not by the book, but really deep dive into it, and to follow the progress is something that I've never really done before for myself, except for maybe weight and how I look in the mirror and how I feel and how my clothes fit. But now I want to track it a little bit more because it's very interesting to follow. And also I'm doing it because then I need to face myself, because it's not always, it brings up a lot of emotional stuff. For me it does. I don't know if you felt that with the clients that you work with, that when it comes to when it's time to assess the progress, that it it brings up a lot of emotions. Have you?
Yeah, it can bring up a lot of resistance. It can bring up a lot of oh, am I really, I'm doing everything right? Is something happening? Or if someone feels like they haven't been pushing or doing everything they were supposed to do in the plan, and they see the result differs, it is not a punishment. It is just something to come back to, that both me and the client can kind of see we're moving forward. So yeah, I have seen a lot of different, some people very happy and some people a little bit challenged.
But also that well, I can only speak for myself, but that I attach how I feel to the progress that I made, just the fact that I do that. And I yeah, so let's finish up what the assessments are, and then we can talk a little bit about what happened when I did my assessments. But so we do weight, body fat, muscle mass, and bone density. Yeah, the combination of those three. We do the different posture assessments. We also do blood pressure and resting heart rate. What else? Pictures with this, what do you call it?
A plumb line, just to
Plumb
see
line, yeah.
if you deviate, if you lean to one side or another.
So I've been taking those pictures in underwear and also in my gym outfit, because I don't know how much I want to share. So there is pictures that I can share if I don't feel comfortable with sharing it with
Public
my
and
own.
private record.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anything else? That's it, right?
No, I think that's it. Posture, body composition, and of course pictures and visual reference, and then of course, as you said, the vital signs to see heart resting ratio, blood pressure. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
So I was very excited going into the assessments, because I felt that something that I felt much better in my body. I felt lighter. I feel, because we've been exercising a lot as well. So we've been on the fruit, and we have a very nice balance with the exercise now. I feel it's not too hard, but it's quite a lot, and my body really likes moving that much. So I felt like my clothes are more loose, and overall much better feeling in the body. And so I don't check in on anything between these 4 weeks. So I start the morning with the weight, and I lost about 3 kilos of weight. And what else? My resting heart rate was
about 10 beats lower.
yeah, my resting heart rate now with this assessment was 46. And then we've been up a little bit in the morning, and then we did the assessments.
Yeah.
And then I just lie down for 10 minutes, and then my heart rate was 46. My blood pressure was a little bit low on the higher one.
Yeah, the systolic.
The systolic, yeah, which is the adrenals. So my adrenals are still, I need to work a little bit on my adrenals. But that's also not very uncommon when shifting the diet. The blood pressure can go down quite fast.
Yeah, definitely. And we do a little bit of intermittent dry fasting too, that from the evening until breakfast or sometimes to lunch that we don't eat. So we try to, whenever we do the assessments, we try not to mix around too much and have more or less the same context or the same setting as before, taken in the morning before we eat or exercise, done anything. And that way it becomes more reliable, that we can see we have more or less the same settings as we had before. So it's easier to see in 4 weeks in between.
Yeah. And my posture, what happened with my posture?
So probably heard of rotated pelvis, which doesn't really say anything, but if you imagine your right and your left side of your hip, they're kind of supposed to work like this. If you see it sideways, almost like my hand is going a little bit back and forward. So what Sarah had was that one side was going a little bit more than the other one, which starts to create a little bit of a compensation rotation in the spine. So that was cleared out by 4 weeks.
That's very interesting because I've had that rotation for a long time. And that has caused a lot of issues with my lower back. So that the fact that is now that they are even, that's fantastic because I've had a lot of lower back issues. Mm-hmm. So to actually have something to measure that has been very, very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we're continuing working with the spine to find, of course, always a more neutral alignment. And anyone that's had a sedentary job or anyone that's sitting down for long periods of time in their life period is definitely going to have something they need to work on with today's society and smartphones and such. So this is a way to really change the posture, and as the posture changes, there's also a lot of psychological and emotional effects that come from there. I usually tell my clients I yet to see a person that's depressed that goes around like this. It rarely happens, it's usually this, and you're like, oh my life, what's going on? So like just changing the posture can do a lot for the mental emotional aspects.
What else in the posture? Anything worth mentioning? That was the big thing, I feel.
Yeah, and on the photos, I could definitely see like when you take the photos, the first photos we took, your feet were standing very narrow apart and was kind of like, I have to stand upright. And on the next round of photos we did, you can definitely see the feet were a little bit more further apart. And I never choreograph how to take the photos. I used to say, take a couple of steps, relax, maybe jump a little bit so you come into a natural position, close your eyes, open your eyes. So you felt comfortable standing with your feet wider apart, which usually is more glute activation, legs activating a little bit more, that you feel more balanced and stronger base to the ground.
Mm.
Um, yeah, just as I mentioned, the photos you can see visually what's happening, and then you can go in with all this nerdy tech instruments to kind of see, is it true what I'm seeing, or is it just my eye that's
Yeah.
deceiving me?
Yeah, I could see progress in the pictures, but also in the measurements.
Mm.
We saw a lot of progress in the measurements.
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of progress and a lot of shifts of values. So when it comes to fat mass, muscle mass, weight in general, whenever you start to shift your diet and exercise, especially working with women, when you change it quite radically, as we're doing now with the going to the fruits, it can affect the hormones a lot, and the weight can go up and down a little bit, fat mass up, muscle mass up and down. It's kind of the body's looking for a balance to navigate and to stay on. And females, when they start to lose fat mass, usually start to lose it from the inside first, so you don't see it visually on the outside. So even if you do a metrics and you see a lot of fat mass has been lost, it usually happens on the inside first before it starts to happen outside, so you can see it visually, and that has to do with reproductive system and keeping that whole apparatus alive.
No, but that's why it's going to be interesting to follow during like month by month, to do it for one whole year and to actually see what's happening.
Yes, yes.
And yeah, and so for me, the measurements, that's because I still have a little bit of this diet kind of attitude, progress, how it looks, but that's just one aspect. But I can feel that the assessment, they are kind of triggering that old pattern. So what I was mostly focused on initially, with like coming into the assessment, is like, what's the weight and what's the body, like the body composition percentage. And yeah, I could feel that affected me. So I lost about 3 kilos, and then I could like, oh my, how much do I eat, and da da da. But if I lose weight faster, I wouldn't appreciate that either, because then it's a bit too fast for the body, I feel. Because I will do this for a year, and if I would lose 3 kilos per month, then after a year that would be a lot. But I don't. Yeah, I'm now going too far ahead. But I felt that affected me a little bit emotionally, um, the body composition and the weight. So it's very interesting for me to. It's a very interesting aspect to keep an eye on and work on during this year.
Yeah, and it's very important to, if you have those histories of very, very peculiar ways of looking at your body image and weight and self-worth, coupled to how you eat and how you look and all of that. Some cases, when I was working back home in Sweden, I didn't do assessments because I felt the client was too attached to the outcome with self-worth. So I started working from a whole different field. We're both doing the work now and doing a lot of educations and have done a lot of work in coaching. So I see it more as a healing journey.
Yeah.
To kind of crack that shell open a little bit with the assessments, but not in a putting down way, not in a negative reinforcing way, but more learning about the body and yeah, just learning how to follow. Because I remember when we did the personal training education, we had people that were, they were shredded, they were ripped, they were like they were jacked people, and like I had one I partnered up with that started to cry when we did assessments, like, oh, I don't want to know that I'm too fat, and I'm like, there's not an ounce of fat on you, so it doesn't really matter how you look, it's the feeling inside, right?
Yeah.
So you can use this tool for many different aspects. You can use it to heal and to start kind of having a different way of looking at your body, a more realistic way of what is it that actually happens. If I lose, sure, you can lose a half a kilo to a kilo a week when you start to lose weight, but that doesn't really matter because can you keep that balance? That's what's interesting, right? How can you make it sustainable so it feels good for life? Because if you just lose weight in a certain way and gain weight, if you're going to try to lose weight in the same way, the body's going to go, I know this, you're trying to
Yeah.
cheat me. That's not going to happen. That's why people have to do different ways of losing weight if that's the
Yeah.
strategy. So this is not about particularly losing weight. I think it's more about balancing the body,
Yeah.
and also a self-developmental journey to feel what is my body going through, how does it look, but also kind of to heal those body images and values, and yeah, just respect. It takes a little bit of time to make a shift in the body, especially if you want to do it sustainable.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly what I'm doing. I want to heal I want to balance out because I've had the hypothyroidism and I've been on a lot of medications and even steroids. I've been talking about this before, but I've been transitioning off all of these medications for a couple of years. And the result was that I gained weight. And now I want to I mean that it is a part of why I'm doing this, but I'm approaching this whole this lose weight experience in a completely different way. So I'm not. I want to lose weight and I want to feel lighter in my body and feel stronger and feel healthier, but I will approach it in a holistic way with a detox as the base instead of doing it the diet kind of way, the diet and exercise kind of way that I've been doing it before, and I was never able to maintain it because my body was not in balance. So I'm balancing all aspects of my life at the same time in this healing journey. So yeah, I still have a little bit of balancing out in the hormonal and the organs that are affecting how fast or if the body wants to lose weight or not. So this is why it's very good for me to look into what actually happens with the body to kind of face myself also. It's like to be accountable for the progress, but also like look at the pictures, look at the measurements to see something else. And then during this year I will kind of reprogram myself to see progress in many other ways than
Yeah,
just weight and body composition.
yeah, definitely. And I mean, for me personally, working with people and with myself, different clients from different backgrounds, it usually comes down to feeling. It's not so much about the visual aspect of it. You want to feel a certain way. When I looked like this, when I was 10 kilos lighter or whatever, or someone will whistle at me when I walk down the street, or whatever the purpose might be, or the thing that you're missing or whatever it is, it comes down to a feeling. You want to feel a certain way, right? And there's a belief system connected to that, has to do with the weight. If I lose the weight, I will feel like that. And then you should say that's not how it works, because the feeling changed, and that's usually why people gain weight, not the other way around. Weight just don't come and jump on you for no reason. Maybe if someone got pregnant or got sick or something. I mean, sure, things happen in life, but it comes from the feeling first. The feeling comes and how we see ourselves and how we treat ourselves and what we do and what we're able to. But sometimes maybe we're not able because we're taking care of someone else and it takes all our time. We're not able to take care of ourselves in the way we want, and then we might gain weight or something happens in the body as a result. But I would definitely say it's more about finding the feeling, because the feeling is what's going to help the body come back. And I like this way of doing assessments because it's really teaching, like, okay, you lost fat mass. you gain body mass. Okay, but I look the same on the pictures, doesn't feel good. Maybe your posture is not there. Maybe you lost a lot of mass, but your posture is like this. And then even if you have a six pack, it looks like you have a big stomach. But when you get a different posture, your body, your posture, everything's gonna shift. You know, you're gonna look differently. Your clothes gonna fit differently. Everything's gonna be different. So, what is it actually that we're looking for? So that's why I feel it's a very deep journey of looking into what is what and what is affecting what.
Yeah.
Is it posture, composition? Is it feeling physically stronger, emotionally stronger, mentally more stable? What is it that you're looking for?
But all of those things starts to get challenged when you do the assessments, and that's why I do it. So everything kind of gets stirred up, and yeah, it will be. It's a very, very interesting ride. I highly recommend it, and I will keep on sharing what comes up. And yeah, thank you for listening, and we appreciate all kind of support. So please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It means a lot to us if you support us. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to write us. It doesn't have to be on this subject. It can be any subject that you feel that we might be the right person to help you with. We're very, very happy to help. You can either email us at support@livingwiththespirit.com, and you will get email support, or you can also write us a question in any of our media, and if it's a yes or no question, we will answer yes or no, but otherwise we might record a video for you as an answer. So don't reach out. Thank you very much.